There are moments in life when the universe seems to speak directly to us, when the threads of fate weave together in such a precise, inexplicable way that we can't help but feel the weight of something much larger than ourselves. A chance encounter, a series of coincidences, a moment when time feels suspended. These are the instances when synchronicity enters our lives. Carl Jung, who coined the term, describes synchronicity as the meaningful coincidence of two or more events or phenomena that are not causally related, yet seem to be connected in a deeply significant way. He once said, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see." But synchronicity is not just a mystical concept. It is a direct confrontation with the boundaries of reality as we know it. It is the moment when our minds are forced to question what we perceive as chance, what we think we understand about time and space. It challenges the very foundation of our materialist worldview, pushing us into a realm where the psyche and the universe are not separate entities, but intricately intertwined. To experience synchronicity is to feel both the terror and awe of being part of something far beyond your control. It's the realization that the universe is not a cold, indifferent machine, but a living, breathing entity that is speaking to you, if only you listen. These moments can be unsettling, sometimes even disturbing, because they shatter the illusion of separateness, revealing that we are all interconnected, bound by unseen forces we cannot fully comprehend. Synchronicity is a reminder that beneath the surface of everyday life lies a profound mystery, one that is both terrifying and beautiful, waiting to be explored. What is synchronicity? Understanding the mysterious coincidence. Synchronicity is the soul's cry for attention, a profound, often unsettling connection between our inner world and the outer universe. It is the moment when the universe orchestrates events that seem too meaningful to be mere coincidence. At first it feels like an anomaly, a random alignment of time and space, but once you grasp its meaning, it becomes clear. The threads of your life are more intricately woven together than you ever imagined. As Carl Jung said, synchronicity is the acausal connecting principle, that which links mind and matter. Synchronicity is not just about bizarre coincidences. It's about finding profound meaning in moments that defy the conventional rules of logic. It's the phone call from an old friend you were just thinking about, or the moment you stumble across a book you've been needing at the exact moment of your emotional crisis. These events shake you to the core, leaving you with a sense of awe and unease. They force you to question the rigid boundaries of time and space, making you feel as though there's something beyond the veil of reality at play. The more you delve into synchronicity, the more you realize that these occurrences are not random. They are the subtle workings of the unconscious mind, a dialogue between your psyche and the world around you. They serve as guides, pointing you toward the path you are meant to walk. But to truly understand them requires surrender. You must let go of the need for logical control and allow the mysteries of the universe to unfold on their own terms. Synchronicity is both a gift and a burden. It forces you to face your deepest truths and confront your darkest fears. It challenges you to see the invisible threads that connect everything and to accept that life is far more than a series of random events. It is a cosmic dance, a sacred alignment of forces where the mind and the universe are forever intertwined. Carl Jung's vision, the intersection of mind and universe. Carl Jung's vision of the mind and universe is a chilling and profound reminder of how little we truly understand about the depths of existence. Jung believed that the unconscious mind, with all its shadows, symbols, and archetypes, was not separate from the external world, but intrinsically connected to it. He saw the psyche as a mirror to the cosmos, suggesting that the mysteries of the universe are not external to us, but reflected within us. In Jung's words, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. This journey into self-awareness, however, is a dark and dangerous one. For to confront the totality of your unconscious is to face not only your deepest fears, but also the terrifying interconnectedness of your own mind with the universe. Jung's theory of synchronicity The meaningful coincidence of inner and outer events exemplifies this vision. He postulated that there are no accidents. What happens inside your mind is reflected in the patterns and occurrences of the world around you. Your psyche is a microcosm of the larger, unseen forces at work in the universe. When the inner world and the external world align, you experience synchronicity, a moment when time, space, and logic shatter, and the true interconnectedness of all things is revealed. But to witness this connection is to be both awed and terrified. The ego resists this truth, clinging to the illusion of separateness. To acknowledge the deep, invisible threads that bind the individual to the cosmos is to accept that you are not an isolated, independent being. You are part of a vast, mysterious web, a cosmic dance that you cannot control, only surrender to. And within that surrender lies the key to awakening, to truly understanding your place in the grand design. Jung's vision forces you to confront your deepest existential fear, that you are not merely a witness to the universe, but a participant in its unfathomable, intricate flow. The meaning behind coincidences, more than random events coincidences. At first, they feel like mere accidents, random collisions of time and chance. But what if they aren't? What if these seemingly trivial moments are the universe's way of speaking to you, pushing you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you? Carl Jung, in his exploration of synchronicity, asserted that coincidences are far from random. In fact, he called them a causal connecting principles, signposts along the path of self-discovery, revealing the hidden unity between the inner and outer worlds. These coincidences are not arbitrary. They are profound, often darkly so, in their ability to shake us out of our complacency. A forgotten memory suddenly resurfaces at the exact moment you need it. A stranger's words mirror your innermost thoughts, or a seemingly chance encounter alters the course of your life forever. These moments demand attention, and they do so with an intensity that cannot be ignored. They awaken something deep within you, a hidden truth that you may have denied or overlooked. But why do these events stir such a deep emotional reaction? Why do they feel so significant, even if they don't seem to follow any logical pattern? The answer lies in the unconscious mind. Jung believed that these events were expressions of the collective unconscious, a universal web that connects all beings and all experiences. They are not just random occurrences, but messages from a deeper part of yourself, a part that knows more about your life's path than your conscious mind does. Each coincidence is a mirror, reflecting the hidden aspects of your psyche, forcing you to confront the parts of yourself that you have buried or neglected. The unsettling truth is this: your life, your desires, your struggles, they are not random. They are guided by forces beyond your control, forces that are desperately trying to awaken you to your true self. As Jung said, what you resist persists. The coincidences are not just signs. They are warnings, invitations, and calls to the deeper, darker truths that lie within. Ignoring them is to remain in the darkness of ignorance. Embracing them is to step into the light of your true potential. The collective unconscious, connecting us all. The collective unconscious is a concept so profound, so deeply unsettling, that once it is grasped, it cannot be ignored. Carl Jung's theory that beneath the personal unconscious lies a universal layer, shared by all of humanity, challenges the very essence of what we understand about individuality. It is the dark, forgotten reservoir where the archetypes of human experience, the hero, the shadow, the anima, reside, waiting to be unearthed. Jung himself said, the collective unconscious contains the whole spiritual heritage of mankind's evolution, born anew in the brain structure of every individual. But what does it mean to be connected to all of humanity through the unconscious? To know that every fear, every triumph, every desire that has ever been felt is a part of your being, woven into the very fabric of your psyche. The truth is terrifying. It means you are never truly alone. The darkness you feel, the doubts you carry, are not solely yours. They are part of a universal human experience. The weight of your existence is not yours to bear alone. It is shared by every soul that has ever walked the earth. The collective unconscious connects us in ways that are not visible, not easily understood, but undeniably real. It is the reason why we experience shared dreams, why myths and stories transcend cultures and time. These ancient symbols are not random. They are encoded into our being, passed down from generation to generation. But the collective unconscious is not just about connection. It is about confrontation. It forces you to see that your pain, your darkness, is not unique. It has been felt by countless others, and yet it is through facing this shared suffering that healing begins. Jung's vision was not one of unity as comfort, but unity as a brutal awakening to the interconnectedness of all pain and joy. To realize that we are all bound by this dark, vast web is to understand that we are all searching for the same truth. And in facing that truth, we find a shared redemption. The spiritual and psychological implications of synchronicity. Synchronicity is not just a fleeting coincidence. It is an invitation into the deep, uncomfortable mysteries of existence. Carl Jung's concept of synchronicity, the meaningful coincidence of inner and outer events, reveals the terrifying, profound truth that the universe is not a cold, mechanical system. It is alive, responsive, and intimately connected to our psyche. Jung himself said, synchronicity reveals the meaningful connection of the subjective with the objective. But this connection is not one we can control. It forces us to acknowledge that there are forces greater than our rational minds, and they operate beyond the confines of time and space. On a spiritual level, synchronicity challenges the illusion of separateness. It reveals that the boundaries between the inner self and the outer world are far more porous than we dare admit. In the moments when we experience synchronicity, the dream that mirrors real-life events, the uncanny timing of an encounter, we are given a glimpse into the vast, interconnected web of existence. These moments stir something primal within us, tapping into ancient spiritual truths that speak to our deepest fears and desires. To feel the weight of a synchronistic event is to face the unsettling truth that we are not isolated beings navigating a random universe. We are, in fact, part of something much larger, something that transcends time, logic. Psychologically, synchronicity is a call to integration, a call to embrace the totality of the self, including the shadow aspects we so desperately try to deny. These meaningful coincidences often happen when we are on the brink of a profound transformation, forcing us to confront aspects of ourselves we have repressed. Synchronicity is not just about finding answers, it is about asking the uncomfortable questions, about stepping into the unknown with no guarantee of what we might find. It is a brutal reminder that to truly understand ourselves, we must surrender control and let the universe guide us, no matter how unsettling or painful that journey may be. The spiritual and psychological implications of synchronicity are clear. We must wake up to the truth of our interconnectedness, our fragility, and the terrifying, beautiful unknown that lies beyond our understanding. Personal stories of synchronicity, when life feels like a divine sign. Synchronicity is not a mere philosophical concept. It is a lived experience that can stop us dead in our tracks and shake us to our core. It is the moment when life unfolds in such a precise, overwhelming way that you can't help but feel as though the universe is personally speaking to you, whispering hidden truths from the depths of existence. Carl Jung called this the acausal connecting principle, a force that binds together events, thoughts, and actions that seem entirely unrelated, yet are profoundly interconnected on a deeper, spiritual level. As Jung himself said, synchronicity is the meaningful coincidence of two or more events or phenomena that are not causally related, but have some symbolic connection. Think of the time you were thinking of someone you hadn't heard from in years and they suddenly called you. Not just any call, but the call that would change the course of your life. Or the moment you found an old letter that seemed to answer the very question you'd been silently struggling with for months. These are not just random events. They are divine signs, Moments in time when the veil between the conscious and unconscious world is lifted, allowing us to glimpse the forces that shape our existence. But the intensity of these moments is not always comforting. Sometimes, synchronicity arrives like a dark storm, overwhelming, unpredictable, unsettling. It challenges your sense of control, pushing you into the unknown. In these moments, you are forced to face your deepest truths, your darkest fears. You cannot deny the significance of these events. They demand a response. Whether we choose to embrace them or turn away, synchronicity doesn't care. It will keep returning, relentlessly, until we acknowledge the undeniable truth. We are not separate from the universe. It is speaking to us, guiding us, challenging us to evolve, and we must be willing to listen. Synchronicity in everyday life. Are we more connected than we realize? In the rhythm of our daily lives, we often find ourselves trapped in the mundane, struggling to reconcile the chaotic world outside with the turmoil within. Yet, there are moments, fleeting, unexplainable moments, that shatter the illusion of isolation and remind us of an unsettling, invisible thread connecting us to everything around us. So, these moments are not random. They are synchronicities, subtle signs from the depths of the unconscious, revealing that we are far more connected to the universe than we realize. Carl Jung believed that synchronicity was the bridge between the inner world of the psyche and the outer world of objective events. He said, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see, but seeing is not always easy. It requires stepping outside the boundaries of the rational mind, opening ourselves up to the possibility that life is not a series of isolated events, but a complex, interconnected dance of energy, timing, and meaning." Have you ever thought about someone and then unexpectedly run into them? Or maybe you've been wrestling with a personal dilemma, only for an answer to come to you through a conversation with a complete stranger? These moments, when the veil between the internal and external worlds lifts, can leave us breathless. We realize, often too late, that our lives are intricately woven into a larger cosmic design, and we are not separate from this vast, mysterious web. Yet there's something profoundly unsettling about this realization. The more we open ourselves to synchronicity, the more we must confront the idea that we are not in control. Life is speaking to us, not through logic or structure, but through deep, symbolic patterns. To ignore these moments is to deny the very pulse of life itself, to refuse the invitation to see the world with new eyes. Synchronicity forces us to face the uncomfortable truth. We are part of something far bigger, far more chaotic, and far more interconnected than we ever imagined. And in that realization, we can no longer pretend that we are in control. The shadow in synchronicity, the dance between light and dark. The shadow is the part of us that we desperately try to hide, the darkness we avoid, the traits and desires we fear. It is the unconscious part of our psyche, often repressed, that contains our most painful truths. Carl Jung understood the power of the shadow, saying, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Synchronicity is no different. It demands that we face not only the light, but also the darkness within us and the world around us. The moments of synchronicity that occur in our lives are not simply good or lucky coincidences. They are the universe's way of thrusting us into a confrontation with our deepest fears, desires, and unresolved conflicts. Just as we cannot escape the presence of our shadow, we cannot escape the presence of these seemingly random, yet deeply significant moments. They are not pleasant interruptions, they are divine disturbances, invitations to examine the deepest recesses of our soul. Synchronicity pulls us into the dance between light and dark, forcing us to question the very nature of reality. It is in the moments of perfect timing, the unexplainable encounters, and the painful revelations that the shadow whispers to us. These moments expose the cracks in our carefully constructed worlds and demand that we look at what lies beneath. The patterns that emerge are not mere accidents. They are shaped by the unresolved parts of our psyche. The more we ignore them, the louder the messages become. To truly understand the power of synchronicity is to face the terror of the shadow. It is to acknowledge that the universe is not just benign or comforting. It is wild, chaotic, and profoundly connected to the darkness within us. These moments are not opportunities to seek reassurance, but calls to courage, urging us to embrace the full spectrum of our being, the light and the dark, in order to fully awaken. Embracing synchronicity to understand the deeper truths of life. Synchronicity is not a gentle whisper or a fleeting moment of magic. It is a raw, disruptive force that shatters the veil between the mundane and the divine, forcing us to confront the deepest, often most terrifying truths of existence. Carl Jung's concept of synchronicity challenges our entire understanding of reality. As he said, the coincidences of our lives are not accidents. They are the manifestation of an To embrace synchronicity is to accept that our lives are part of a vast, unfathomable web of meaning where every event, no matter how small, is connected to something far beyond our comprehension. Synchronicity demands that we open our eyes to the hidden dimensions of existence, the unseen forces, the subtle patterns, the invisible threads that weave our lives together. It forces us to question everything we thought we knew about time, space, and individual will. The more we ignore the synchronicities, the more we deny the reality of these hidden connections, the deeper we fall into a life of numbness and disconnection. But the moment we allow ourselves to be vulnerable to these experiences, we step into a terrifying but liberating world where we no longer see ourselves as isolated beings but as integral parts of something much greater. The power of synchronicity lies in its ability to push us to the edges of our comfort zone, to confront the unspoken parts of our psyche, and to face the shadows we've tried so desperately to avoid. It is only by embracing these moments, however dark or unsettling, that we begin to understand the deeper truths of life. We come to realize that the universe is not a chaotic, meaningless place, but a place of intricate, profound order. A place that speaks to us not through logic, but through signs, symbols, and meaningful coincidences. To embrace synchronicity is to awaken to the terrifying beauty of a life far more interconnected and meaningful than we ever dared to believe.